I'm bigger than you.
In your mind. It's a good thing. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil.
And this is Rockin the Love. And we're so glad to have you here with us today. We're actually so glad to be here with you today.
Absolutely.
It's been kind of a crazy week.
A little touch and go, but we're happy to be here with you.
We could play the game like, are they together or are they separate?
We could play the game. What do you think? What should we do?
Let's see. I think anyone who's a little bit astute could
Let me see
put the panels
if I
together.
can reach over to you. I don't know if I can touch it. Oh, there I am.
We are together. Separate screen. We are a household. Woo! Anyway, we are coming to you from Albuquerque this week. Albuquerque, New Mexico. And what a journey it's been to get here. Let me tell you. How have you been this week?
Well, just experiencing a new experience. I've been better. I've been better. That's what I can say.
I can attest to that. We have been bit by the COVID bug this week for the first time. Da-da-da-da. So there you go. I got it somehow on my way here. My belief is on my way here. And I got it. And being the giver that I am, I shared. And Gil and I have been locked together in a room for the past 10 days. So it's been very interesting. There's probably already a book out about like the spirituality of COVID or something. I'm sure there's some, metaphysical.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all about letting go. It's all about trusting that it's going to be okay. It's all about the illusion that I really can control my life. I mean, how much can I control my life when I can't get out of bed?
But is it true that you couldn't get out of bed?
Well, it's not really true, but I didn't feel like getting out of bed.
Well, then that's a whole different thing too, because I think that's a really good question and topic in some ways, because sometimes we just don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we feel like we should, because we feel like we are more than this,
And we are ultimately, this is just something passing through. This isn't our life. This is what's passing through right now, is this experience of our body needing extra support and health and help in being healthy.
Yes. And boy, did it, right? It's an interesting thing to be that sick, or to be like, I don't know. I guess not even for me, not even as sick, but to have people tell you, okay, now you can't be with other people and you can't do this and don't touch that. And not for 5 days, not for 10 days, it's like, there's a lot of rules, and yet nobody can tell you really if it's gone or not gone, or it makes me confused.
Someone wants to know what our show is all about.
So tell
them our show. Well, first of all, a couple things. One, this actually marks the completion for us of our first year of Rockin the Love. Can you believe it? One full
year.
And I think we've done, out of 52 weeks, a good 48 or so actual programs. We've had one or two glitches with technology. We've had a glitch or two with illness, and there you go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good, and so we should congratulate our producer too, because he's hung in there with us for a year.
Yeah.
Yay,
a
Michael
whole
Burgess.
year. Thank you,
good.
Michael.
Really, thank you. Not many people can say that.
Very few people hang in with us for a year.
Yes, you must be of the strong ones. As is our Facebook user out there, who's probably really only listening to our show because I didn't return her text.
Is that true, Myrna? She didn't return your text? I try to tell her to return texts. What can I say?
Oh.
All right. So, Myrna, the other part of what we want to talk about today is this whole crazy idea of when it doesn't look spiritual and it's a little bit nutty, but how do you then move into that space of seeing the spiritual in it?
Yes. Yes. And yeah, so that's what we want to talk about. So, and I know that happens all the time. It happens all the time. And yeah, there's things that just make you ponder and inquire, really? Really? Okay. But many times people ask, where is the God in that? Especially the situations we don't like. Show me the God in that.
Well, I just think about just this last week. I don't feel very spiritual, frankly. I don't feel like, oh, I'm going to meditate and listen to the voice of spirit. I think, oh God, I just want to put my head down on the pillow. But in the midst of that, does that mean that it doesn't exist, or does that just mean I am not in a place to be in tune?
I think that's a great question. And I think it's a really personal question for each person. Because I think for me, it doesn't have to look a certain way. Like sometimes I can be meditating and it doesn't mean I'm sitting there in a lotus position doing, now I am meditating, but I'm clear that I'm meditating and having a conversation with the divine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm clear that, yes, we can have those conversations. However, I'm also clear that sometimes when I don't feel well, it's harder for me to get there in my brain. My head doesn't want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck on the outside. So not only do we have those situations that come up that look, crazy in the world, that look outside of quote spirituality, just the normal day-to-day stuff sometimes feels outside of it. And I think one of my goals for next year is to figure out how to be more anchored every day, all the time in it.
Yeah. And don't you think that some of that has to do with like expectation? Like I don't always, I don't feel like I have an expectation of how some of that looks sometimes. So I feel like I find myself in it more in my own way. Like somebody else might go, what are you doing? And I'm doing whatever I'm doing, but it's my own spiritual connection, but somebody else might not be able to relate to it as whatever counts as, meditation or all the other things we're supposed to do.
Wow. I think it's, that it's always spiritual. And like Wayne says, God's got everybody's back. That idea that spirit's always there, it's always present, it's always happening. So no matter how I feel about it, it doesn't necessarily indicate what's real in the moment. It just indicates what's moving through my sense of being in the moment.
Okay, so this is a great conversation, and there's more to it, but I think before we go on, let's do the good news.
Aha.
Here's the good news, and now the good news. So my good news for the week is I was reading about a guy, I think his name is Jack, who is one of those guys that does the clicky thing on the beach, looking for metal detectors.
The clicky thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the clicky thing guy. Okay, I think okay. Metal detector.
Metal detector.
Okay. Got it.
And he's found numerous things and lots of jewelry. and he found a ring, and this was the biggest thing he'd ever found. He found a ring that he took to have appraised that was valued at $40,000. This beautiful diamond ring, and his goal is to set out to find the owners. And he's returned like a bunch of jewelry, and he actually found the owners of the $40,000 ring that had lost it on the beach in Florida on one of their trips, and returned it to them.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that cool? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And he says he has a necklace he wears with a lot of rings around it, just in case he meets someone.
Is this yours?
In case somebody's like, please have my ring. But can you imagine? I can't. I just can't imagine losing anything at the beach and really believing you'd find it. Like, what are the chances?
Yeah. I mean, what comes to my mind is that set of Avis car keys that I lost at the beach. I don't remember seeing those show up again.
Right? I mean, but it's crazy, you know? I mean, how small a ring is and lost in the sand. But I thought that was I don't know, those kind of things are so amazing. People who just, I don't know, what would, okay, so like in the big chart of fate, like, how are you supposed to have lost your ring, found your ring, met this person who found, like, what is the big scheme there? You know what I mean?
Well, and how does each person play into it? So there's the guy at the beach who's out searching for treasure, but his whole goal is not to get treasure for himself, but to help reunite people with their treasure. Now, that's different.
Yeah, that's a story in itself.
Right? And why do some people choose to go, oh, you know, I found it, it's mine. And others go, oh, I found this, somebody lost it.
Well, but like, I'm sure Myrna's going to have a comment about what I would do. But let me say, I don't know, like that seems so vast to even really think that I could find the person that lost their ring on a beach in Florida. I mean, it could be someone from anywhere around the world. And they could be anywhere. And what are the chances? I mean, like, that they're just going to open up their throwaway magazine and in the little thing is going to be like, found ring. You know, I mean, like, how would you even, I wouldn't even go, oh, that might be mine. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know. It's amazing to me. And thank God for those that do know. Well,
you know, it begs the question, what is the relationship of things and people and all of this? This is a really good, interesting topic. And that's, you know, we say, where is spirit in these things? Well, if spirit is everywhere present, then in all of these things, all of these relationships, there is spirit having relationship with spirit. And so why couldn't, why shouldn't there be miraculous connections and reconnections?
And like Wayne said, God's got everybody's back.
Yeah.
So it's not us that do it's the thing. It's, you know, I mean, God's got it. So,
you know, and I wonder how many of us, what the difference is in terms of quality of life when we choose to be a part of that reconnection versus taking things for ourselves. And I say that because I think of particular young people that I know that are like, you know, they see somebody drop something and then they pick it up and say, it was on the floor, it's mine. I mean, there's no connection to, oh, that person dropped it. It's just, if it's not in somebody's hand, it must be mine. And And how do we move from that kind of, and I think that, that very immature attitude, if you will, but how do we move from that to an attitude of everything has its place.
But is it immature? Is it an immature attitude? I mean, maybe a little bit. And is it also, there's some sense of connection that isn't connected. There's like a missing link almost. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's, I think that's often what we see in terms of those events or people that seem, outside of the spiritual thing, is there seems to be some kind of disconnection. There's always a disconnect. And that disconnect is what creates the appearance that somehow it's not lined up. Right?
Yeah. And Myrna says, I guess this goes along with your comments at the beginning that all is spiritual. And sometimes stuff happens and sometimes amazing things happen. Sometimes we don't turn off our technology. And the phone rings.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's very interesting. So I say that ponder that, and when we come back, we'll ponder more. Let's take a break and we'll come right back here on New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello, we're back. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil, and this is Rockin the Love. It's the last Wednesday of 2022.
Woohoo.
Oh my goodness. We started this in January of 2022, and here it is, the last Wednesday of 2022.
I knew it would happen. I knew it would.
We could make it, and we did make it.
And thank you all for being here with us. So, hit it.
So, we're talking about this idea of of spirit, and how, everything is spirit somehow. And I wanted to share a quote, which is probably familiar to many of us, from Viktor Frankl. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedom, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Wow. What do you think of that?
It hurts my head a little. No, I mean, it's one that I have to think about. The first time you read it, I was like, yeah, okay. I couldn't really understand it. This time, I get it a little bit more. I think, I mean, yeah.
Well, I think it goes to the whole concept of that nothing is anything without what belief, what thought we put on top of it. And so when we look at things and we say that doesn't look very spiritual, the only reason that we say that really is because that's some thought that we have, some judgment, some, something that someone else has said that we've decided must be true. So we have to look at it that way.
But it's all like that.
But it's all like that. So whatever we experience, all of the weird things that happen throughout the year, all of the political people that we've survived, the person from New York who's lied on his resume about everything, all these different kinds of things. Well, are they non-spiritual, or are they just, depends on how we look at it. What an opportunity to learn. It's something we can learn from. It's something, a way to understand people.
I mean, can they be non-spiritual?
I think that's the point. No, not really.
I mean, to me, what it speaks to, and this is always where I get to in life, is that it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. So even if you and I are going along perfect and our marriage is great and we understand each other perfectly, it's our world and we've created these rules around it. But if someone else comes in, they're going to go, why do you do it that way? Why do you put the bread on that side of the refrigerator? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And we have our reasons and they have their reasons for why they would do it differently. And is one better than the other? No. I mean, it's like every day I am so much more convinced. It just makes me laugh. I go, okay, God, I get it. It's all an illusion, because the things that I think are the most important in the moment aren't. I mean, like, there's no way you could have told me that this trip would look like this. I'm like, huh. Okay.
Say more about that.
Well, I was excited to get to New Mexico early, to be with my husband, have this like quality time, and then the family would come, and then Christmas would look like this, and then, one of our godkids is going off to school here. We'd go take him to school. Just this whole thing, not that I had an agenda, but I had an idea of what it would look like and how, the bigger parts would be. Not that I would have been in our house locked up for 10 days and Christmas presents sitting in the closet.
Yeah.
And is that wrong? No, it may be a fabulous Christmas. We may have the best time ever once we get to that portion of the thing. It's not that I'm attached to what it looked like, but I certainly didn't know it was going to look like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And at the same time, I have to say that, overall it was still pretty good. And I think because we didn't decide that it was bad, we decided it was a good opportunity to rest. It was a good opportunity to just hang out. and we let it be what it was. And that's the key, I think, so much in terms of our spiritual life, is allowing it to be what it is.
But isn't that the key period? I mean, it's when we get stuck in the details and the illusion that somebody's not doing it the right way, or that, I don't know, the church isn't doing it the right way, or we get stuck in those details, and then it becomes something else.
I love that quote, Wayne, from John Greenleaf Whittier. God is, and all is well. And that's that idea. It just is. God is, period. There is no judgment. There's no parameters. There's no way that it has to be. We talk about the light being birthed into the world at this time of year, and the light has shown up, and what that light looks like is, different depending on who's receiving it, or who's allowing it to flow through them.
Okay, I can go with that.
Okay. All right. This is good. I've actually gotten Robyn to be speechless. I don't know how I did it. This is incredible.
It's really not that hard.
Woo!
So, as we move into this new year, what are we letting go of? What are we letting go of here in the old year? What can stay here? COVID can stay. COVID can stay. And what are we calling forth for the new year?
I'm calling forth boundless energy. And I'm calling forth fun. And I'm calling forth trust in God is, and all is well. Really trusting in that, and allowing that to be the cornerstone of my life, and of how my life expresses itself in ministry.
That's good.
What about you?
I'll take some of that too. All of that sounds good. I think for me, I'm not sure. It's a really great day to ask me that question. I'm not sure. I'm really, I'm somewhere on the boundaries of just being clear on my boundaries. Just being clear on my boundaries and what they are, and I really want. I really want the work that I do and that we do, to go to a different level. I know every time we do workshops and put things out there, that it's always really good. And we're like, oh yeah, we should do some more of that. But I really want, to be able to touch people, I think, in a different way. And I also want to stop getting weighed down by a lot of other projects that aren't necessarily mine.
That aren't yours to do?
Yeah. Let's see. Myrna says, for me, balance, romance, and new ways of approaching things. Those are good. Those are good.
And Wayne's ready to embrace the new. I think so much of embracing the new is releasing a hold on the necessity of the old. I think there's a there's that desire to hang on to whatever's been the way it's been. And when I hang on to that, then I can't make room for the new. I can't allow the new to show up. And I want to create that space. And it's as even as I say it, it's not so much about creating the space, it's about allowing the space.
So let me ask you a question about that, because I find that I think a lot of people want that, and one of the things I notice, especially when I work with clients too, one of the things I notice is they want that, or they want, something similar to what you just said, that kind of breakthrough feeling thing. And yet, what I find or notice is that there's not always a willingness to do it a different way. They just would like a different result.
Mm.
For example, I'll use you as an example so that I'm not like even just times when, I know you want a different outcome for a situation, or you want to have something, and then your response will be, and I know the minute you take that breath, that you're not in the new, you're in the old, because you're basing it on what's gone on in the past, or why it hasn't worked, or how it's felt, or how we're going to do the same thing over again, or something like that. And it's like, how does one make the leap? And I'm asking you this as a minister, practitioner person. How do you really make that leap from being able to open up that space? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And anyone out there, please feel free to answer and play along. I'm just.
Well, that's a tough question, and I think you're right. It is, our brain is. I was just reading this just a little bit ago, and I will share it with you.
You can paraphrase
that our brain learns to anticipate future experiences based on occurrences from the past. Okay, so our brain goes, oh, this is what that's turned out to be before, so therefore that's what I need to be looking out for going forward.
Right.
And that's a natural thing, if I go into a dark cave and it's the middle of winter, it's likely I might find a bear, so now I know next time. So when I'm looking for that new experience and that new thing, I'm going to be afraid of that bear when I'm going in there.
Right.
And I think the moving out of that automated process is what gets interesting for us, is to go, okay, every moment is new. Are we going to say that every moment is really new? Are we saying that we're reborn in every moment, that we have a new sense of who we are in every moment? And in order to truly live into that, we have to let go of whatever it is that we've held on to that we think holds us, that's going to support us somehow in this moment, or protect us. It's probably more important, probably more realistic, the things that are going to protect us somehow, make us feel okay. Even if they don't truly protect us, they make us feel like we're all right. And that's I don't know.
But I think it's also an awareness. I think, for me anyway, I know it's an awareness. When I feel my body do that, take that breath, and I know that I have flashed backwards. I know that I am like, okay, here we go again. I have to say this again, or I have to do this again, or how's it going to turn out this way if I got to do this again? I've done this 900 times. You know what I mean? I know that is my button that I have rewound. which on a good day allows me to take another breath and be open and breathe and go, okay, how can I make this happen differently? How can I participate in an expansive way? So how do we? I think I just think that's key to creating, because that is all our body knows is what's already happened.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way learning is.
So can we, is that where gratitude comes in? Is that where I go, thank you for that reminder of that experience. Thank you. And let it go. I appreciate where we've been. I appreciate what's come before. And I am open to appreciating something new right here and right now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's different for each person. I mean, for you, it might be gratitude. You know, I mean, I'm reading what Wayne has written, and he wrote so many things. You know, just even I can embrace the new. What a great affirmation! What a great affirmation to just take a breath and go, I can embrace the new. Like, you know, and you know, all of the things that he's written. There's a piece in which I think it just depends what your button is. If yours is, okay, I need to be grateful in this moment, and that snaps you out of it. Yeah. Myrna says, one thing I started to do was to read Creating a Loving Community by Jim Lockhart, because in my new 2023 adventure, I really want a new outcome and to stay open to new ways of doing things. I am also doing spiritual practices and release old conversations and have gratitude for all. That's great, Myrna. That's great.
And it's so interesting because that space of creating a loving community has to start with my own stuff around what I'm carrying with me, and then how I share that out with, for instance, my significant other, in your case, Robyn. You know, that each level at which that relationship only happens when we started at the very base, at the very beginning, which is in me. How am I relating to these old ideas, these things that that I might put in the way? Because quite often I'm putting them in the way with no one else being a part of the situation at all. It's just me in relationship to what I think.
Well, and when you do that, you're limiting God, you're limiting spirit.
Yeah.
So the minute we get to, it'll never work, that's the way it's always been, that's the way you always do it, any of those kind of things, we're limiting spirit. We're limiting ourselves. We're limiting our partners, our friends, our family, whoever. Oh, it's exhausting. This is exhausting work, everybody.
Well, it can be in a way. I think in a way it is. I think when we shift our attitude about what it means to release what's gone before. And that's kind of where I went to the gratitude idea of, what if I can just be grateful for it instead of feeling like I have to jettison it and get rid of it? You know, I have to let go of what's come before. I have to push it away. And maybe instead of that, what I need to do is thank it and, you know, acknowledge what good it's done in my life, and just allow it to be, and therefore open up to what's coming, to what's new, to what's possible, to what a different choice looks like.
Well, and I think so much of that has to do also with staying in the moment. Because the minute we're out of the moment, then we're making things up again. You know what I mean? If I'm in the moment, and I'm just so grateful that you and I are here together in this moment, I can't futurize about anything else being wrong or right or anything.
Uh-huh.
I'm just really standing in what I know and the truth of what is.
And isn't that what we're doing with the show? We have to be in the moment. We have to speak in the moment. We have to share in the moment because if we start thinking way out ahead and about the next show and about what happened and what worked and what didn't, it all goes sideways. We have to just enjoy the time and be in the moment and have this discussion and listen. So it's sort of the show itself is a metaphor for what you just said.
Wow.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
That make your head hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, darn.
We're too deep for me today.
Oh.
No. Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I am very excited. I'm excited. I don't know. I don't think I ever say it's going to be a bad year coming, but it's always exciting to have some reset and be able to really hone in and focus on what you want, what one wants to create. And I feel like there's so many of us out there doing good work and really making a difference in the world, and we're just excited to be doing the work along with you all.
And I think a lot of the work is always right in front of us. It's not far out there. It's not something we have to try to figure out. It's right there, whether it's, in the conversation you're having in your head to how you respond to someone that walks up to you unexpectedly. It's right there in front of us, the opportunity to say, what is the best way? What is the highest way? What is the new that's here right now? What is the new that I'm looking at as possibility?
Yeah.
Can't look at each other because we're going the wrong way. Oh no. So I think I know personally my thing for the year is getting along with me. The more I can get along with me, the better I'll be getting along with everyone else. And I struggle sometimes with being with me. And I think that has to do with expecting the old and not being open to the new and not being available to what's possible. So I'm saying for 2023, let's move into that space of yippee.
Yippee, it's time with me.
Exactly. Yippee, it's time with me. Oh my God, that was good. Okay, so yippee, time with me, 2023. That's where I'm starting.
We're going to be doing a vision board party this weekend.
We are.
So we can jump right in. All of y'all out there, start your vision boards. And, it's just a place to play from. It's not, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to be able to look and to track and to think and to add. And to, just, connect with your highest desires. As Wayne says, direct contact with the spirit is illumination. Renaissance. Wayne, you are very talkative today with many good quotes.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you so much for your support out there. You could be our director of quotes. I think you've outquoted me. And Myrna, thank you for sharing your feelings and your stories. And I love that you're claiming a year of romance. I don't know how that fits in with our conversations. I don't know what your husband's going to think about that part of it, but we live in a progressive world. We'll figure it out.
Balance romance and a new way of approaching.
I know. I just picked the one I like. I know that there's more,
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah. And we're excited. We'll have some new stuff coming up for you next month. We have some great guests coming on, and I don't know, who knows what, only Spirit knows. And maybe Wayne, I think he's got an inside line too, but we'll see what happens. So you got anything else to say?
I'm just going to say that I am glad that I've been rocking the love with you this past year. Thank you. It's been beauteous and fun. And I'm grateful to have been doing it with all the folks out there listening. And I'm praying that we will come across those things that truly help each of us rock the love a little bit more.
Yes. 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 I'm excited. And once again, thank you so much to all of the support we've had out there from New Thought Media Network, there's too many people to name, but Laura Topper, Bonnie Gonzalez, Michael Mangus, Robert Brzezinski, Laura Brzezinski. There's just too many people to name. But Zoom Around the Station, Myrna, people show up in Diego, and we're just such a great team. And so we're really appreciative to all of you. And we know that this new year is going to be just filled full of love and joy and infinite possibility. So we're wishing you that. We're standing with you in that. And Feliz Año Nuevo a todos. And have a great year. We'll see you in 2023.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yay.
Keep rocking the love.
And be safe.